I'm going to call this meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. Do we have any closed session report?
Hi, Mr. Mayor. Nothing to report, but the council is going to continue closed session after the meeting's over.
Okay, thank you. I would like to invite our youth council member to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Place your right hand over your heart. Already begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Litzter,
Here.
Councilmember Kavanaugh,
Here.
Councilmember Judge,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes,
Here.
Mayor Thomas.
Here. Are there any items for agenda review?
Mr. Mayor, we, in front of you tonight and earlier distributed was supplemental to agenda item 9A.
Okay. All right.
I move that all resolutions and ordinances presented tonight be read in title only and all further reading be waived. Second.
Call for a vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
If any member of the city council may have a conflict of interest, or any reason why that member must abstain from consideration of any matter on this agenda, he or she should declare so at this time. And seeing none.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, the first item on the agenda is item 1D1, presentation of a proclamation declaring the week of May 19th through May 25th, 2024 as Public Works Week, and Public Works Director Warren Fuchiwaki is here to present this item.
Good evening, Mayor Thomas and council members. I would like to take this opportunity to thank and acknowledge all of my Public Works coworkers for all the great efforts in terms of operating and maintaining our public infrastructure. This evening's proclamation reads as follows. Whereas Public Works facilities and services provided in our community are an integral and essential part of our citizens' daily lives, and whereas the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs such as water, sewer, public buildings, streets, highways, and flood control, and whereas the health, safety, and comfort of this community greatly depend on these facilities and services, whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, construction, and maintenance, depend on the efforts and skills of Public Works personnel, supported by the public's awareness and understanding of the role of these public servants. Now, therefore, the week of May 19 through May 25, 2024 is hereby proclaimed Public Works Week in the city of Simi Valley to encourage all citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing public works facilities and services to our community, and to recognize the contributions which Public Works personnel make towards our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. Presented this 20th day of May 2024.
Thank you, Ron. What would we do without our water, roads, sewer? There are so many things. I just want to say, echo, thank you for that proclamation. We take for granted that we can exist in our city, but really cannot do it without Public Works. So.
Yep. The employees of Public Works,
We,
all the people that work in Public Works deserves our recognition because I know they're highly trained, very intelligent, and they do an amazing job.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 1D2, presentation of a proclamation declaring the month of May 2024 as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. And Assistant Chief of Police Adam Zak is here to present this item, and accepting the proclamation is Officer Evan Shaw.
Popular form of recreation and efficient transportation for more than 1.2 million people in the state of California. And whereas the safety hazards of distracted driving, drivers not checking their blind spots, or using their turn signals when changing lanes are of prime concern to motorcyclists. And whereas it is especially important that the citizens of Simi Valley be aware of motorcycles on the streets and highways and recognize the importance of motorcycle safety. And whereas the American Brotherhood aimed toward education of California is an organization that actively promotes safe operation, increased rider training, and increased motorist awareness of motorcycles. And whereas it is important to recognize the need for awareness on the part of all drivers, especially with regard to sharing the road with motorcycles, and remind riders to make themselves more visible to others. Now, therefore, the month of May 2024 is hereby proclaimed Motorcycle Awareness Month in the city of Simi Valley to encourage both motorcycle riders and automobile drivers to unite in the safe sharing of the road to provide safe travel for all. Presented this 20th day of May, 2024.
Well, I have personally witnessed many close calls and a few actual accidents of somebody not realizing the motorcycle was there. I was one of those motorcycles. Gosh, it has to be 20 some odd years ago. I came close to having a fatal accident on a motorcycle, and the very first thing I did was sell my motorcycle. But this is important. So. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, the next item on the agenda is public statements on appointments, special presentations, and informational reports. We have no public comments for this item this evening. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 3C1, informational presentation by Youth Council Member Abhishek Jagannathan.
Good evening, Mayor Thomas and members of the City Council. My name is Abhishek Jagannathan, and I'm a senior at Santa Susana High School. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. This is my 5th term serving on the Simi Valley Youth Council and my first as council chair. Tonight, I will be providing an update on the Youth Council's recent activities as our 2023-2024 term wraps up. We at the Youth Council have had an incredibly busy month of April with 2 of our biggest events of the year, the Simi Valley Multicultural Fair and the Community Talent Show, taking place within a week of each other. Because of this, our most recent Youth Council meeting, which took place on April 24th, focused primarily on debriefing the 2 events and discussing how we can improve them in the future. As you have already heard from last month's presenter, Tanvi Iju, about the success of these 2 events, today I want to focus more on the areas of improvement the Youth Council identified to give you a glimpse as to how these events will proceed into the next year. The Multicultural Fair, which was a collaborative event with the Santa Susana High School International Club, saw about 200 attendees from the community and generated $200 in donations for James Storehouse, a nonprofit for child welfare. Planning the fair involved working with various student cultural groups and organizations from Santa Susana High School, Simi Valley High School, and Royal High School to facilitate as much cultural inclusivity as possible. And there were about 12 of these student groups who hosted informative and engaging booths at the fair. Based on our meeting debrief, our 2 main goals are to increase student participation on the back end in terms of getting more cultural groups and organizations involved in the hosting of the event, and to increase community involvement on the day of, so that even more people can enjoy the cultural diversity that Simi Valley has to offer. So for next year's Multicultural Fair, You can expect a livelier atmosphere with more student organizations involved, as well as greater advertising and promotion of the event for the Simi Valley community to attend and enjoy. Our community talent show, which took place just 5 days after the fair on April 17th and serves as the Youth Council's primary fundraiser for all of our activities throughout the year, was successful in raising $2,785 in profit, with our total revenue being close to $5,000. We've been hosting the talent show for 6 years now, and our debrief primarily dealt with how we can allocate these funds to improve the quality of future Youth Council events. After discussion, we approved the research and purchase of 3 items that we believe can help make our events more successful. The first is a lavalier microphone system for capturing audio, and that's specifically designed to help improve the caliber of our social media content and aid in connecting with the community in a more accessible and effective way. The second is a set of high-quality speakers for the Youth Council's outdoor events, and the third is a microphone and headset communication system that will help the Youth Council coordinate more effectively behind the scenes during our more elaborate events, such as the Youth Town Hall and our Community Talent Show. But the most important discussion item in our April meeting was our final planning for the Simi Valley Teen Wellness Night and Unplugged Day, which took place last Friday, May 17th, right here outside City Hall. The event was a rousing success. We had about 300 attendees at the fair, many of whom also participated in our challenge to achieve less than 1 hour of screen time on the day of May 16th. And this marked a significant improvement in participation from the previous 2 years, making it our biggest Youth Council event this term. Looking ahead, we are already starting to gear up for the 2024-2025 Youth Council term. Youth Council applications closed at the end of April, and next week we begin our first round of interviews for the new term. If you're interested in learning about future initiatives that the Youth Council has in store, please follow us at Simi Valley Youth Council on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as at SVYC2929 on TikTok. Our next Youth Council meeting is scheduled for tomorrow, May 21st from 5 to 6 p.m. in the Simi Valley Senior Center's room 106. And just a reminder that these meetings are open to the public, so if anyone is interested, please feel free to attend. On a personal note, this is my final term as part of the Youth Council, so I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Mayor Thomas, as well as the members of the City Council for your unwavering support over the years. Your encouragement of the Youth Council has empowered us to become involved in our community in a uniquely productive capacity, and I thank you for giving us such a meaningful platform. This experience has had a profound impact in my life. It's fueled my interest in civic engagement and introduced me to public policy and government, helping me discover what I want to do next. And I'll be attending UCLA in the fall as a public affairs major. It's been an absolute honor to serve on the Youth Council, and I would love to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Councilmember Litster.
Thank you. Abhishek, you've been fabulous on the City Council, on the Youth Council, excuse me.
Thank you.
5 years,
Yes.
which means you started in middle school, and if I'm not mistaken, is that correct?
Yes, that's right, 8th grade.
8th grade. So that's fabulous that you, thank you for all of your years of service. I did have a question about the acquisition. Fabulous that the talent show turned such a nice profit. And you mentioned the 3 items that were earmarked. You said they've already been purchased? Is that?
Well, we've approved the research of them, and we'll probably be purchasing them before the end of the Youth Council term. We haven't yet purchased them.
And so your lavalier mic system, is that portable? Does that just, I mean, you can take it anywhere? Just want
Yes,
to make sure?
they're essentially these miniature microphones that you can connect to your phone, so that way we're able to capture more precise audio, and it'll be better for creating social media content.
To be connected to your phones?
Yes.
Okay, now I understand better. I was trying to, thank you, how that all worked. Well, thank you for not, it would be easy to say, we're too busy, we can't do one more event, but that hasn't stopped. And so thank you again for your
Thank
great
you so
service.
much.
Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I need to tell you that your efforts and those of the Youth Council make me a better councilman. because I want to try and do more than you. And it's impossible. Your group is really strong, and under your leadership this year and your participation for the past 5, it's grown in strength, and you're to be commended.
Thank you so much.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have to comment also, you did a wonderful presentation tonight, and I really like the unplugged effort. We did a high school leadership camp, and they had to turn their phones in, and for 3 days, they did not have their phones, and they enjoyed it. So I think you promoting that with Unplugged for the Day, I think is a wonderful thing. And congratulations on being accepted to UCLA. We expect to see you sitting up here in a few years. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Job well done, and I plan on seeing you tomorrow night.
Yes,
All
thank
right.
you.
Take care.
Thank you all again. Hope you have a great night.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 4, public statements. Since there are no public hearings under agenda item 5 this evening, agenda items 4 and 6 are combined, and the City Council will hear all public statements under this agenda item 4. Agenda item number 4 and 6 are the times allotted for public statements on all items other than public hearings, appointments, and informational reports. Speakers will be called on in the order in which the card was submitted to speak for this public statement item 4 for a period of no more than 3 minutes each. Persons addressing the City Council are requested to state their name and community of residence for the record. Mr. Mayor, unless you have any comments, we can begin public statements.
Please proceed.
Doug Felbinger.
Hello? Should I go ahead and get started? Okay. So that everyone can hear me and I'm on the... Hello? 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 Okay, there, I think that we're good. My name's Doug Felbinger. I own the industrial park at 709 through 775 Cochran Street. There's a new project proposed next door to me that has an outside storage component. The owners indicated to me that they plan to have outside storage right next to my buildings. So I made an appointment to review the planning file, which I've done many times in the past. However, this time I was told I could not take pictures of the plans as their copy office. I told her it was fair use for me to take pictures of the plans for purposes of comment or criticism. She disagreed. I got her to put her position in writing. I had my attorney respond to her, but she still maintains I have no right to make a copy of the plan under the California Public Records Act. Instead, she proposes that I fill out a form, which I've given you there. And I believe that it was created in response to my request. The form relies on the California Health and Safety Code, which refers to requesting official plans of constructed buildings. I've given you a copy of the form. She directs me to fill out the form, which I'm to sign and have notarized as an affidavit stating the copy of the drawings requested shall only be used for the maintenance, operations, and use of the subject buildings. This makes no sense in the context of a proposed project. She knows she's asking me to lie in a signed affidavit. Gina's position is positively Orwellian. Is the city really protecting an architect's copyright by restricting its duplication by a concerned neighbor? It's a proposed project. It's not like I want to sell the plans. It's clear I plan on commenting and maybe even criticizing the project. Certainly, certainly having to obtain the approval of the architect I could be criticizing is at odds with the principle of public participation in the development process. Gina's stance is at odds with Simi Valley's history of allowing public participation. In fact, Simi Valley enacted neighborhood councils in 1970 specifically to encourage public participation. I remember my dad talking about how outraged he was trying to build apartments in Simi in the 1970s. He said neighbors are asking him all sorts of questions about where his trash cans would go and what kind of plants he would have. He was used to building in the city of LA where there were no neighborhood councils. As far as I know, there isn't anyone on the dais, with the possible exception of the city attorney, who doesn't favor public participation in the development process. If the public isn't allowed to have and circulate copies of a plan earlier than the date the project's slated for the agenda, there isn't a real opportunity to garner support or opposition to the project. I'm told that basically, at this point, I'm told that I'm basically at the point where I'd have to sue the city to enforce my rights. But I think there's another way. I can appeal to you. I know all of you as reasonable people. I know you favor public participation. You care about what the people in Simi think. I'm not planning on selling the plans. I want to copy the plans so I can thoughtfully comment on them. We need more light on government, not less. I would be grateful for any help you could give me to move the city attorney from their untenable position, which undermines the California Public Records Act. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that was the only speaker this evening. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 4A, City Council comments regarding public statements.
Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes.
Mr. Feldbanger, we can't have a dialogue, obviously, about this. Your concerns are extremely well articulated, and if the facts are the way you describe them, I'm concerned as well, and so I know I'll be asking questions.
Councilmember Litzter.
So I just wondered if it would be appropriate to ask our city attorney at this time if he wanted to respond or share information that we should be aware of.
Thank you, Councilman Member Litzter. I will say I will look into this, first of all. Second of all, my understanding is that one of the statements made was that this was a form created specifically for the requester, which clearly, based on the revision date of the form itself, couldn't be true. In California, even though records may be public records, that doesn't mean every single record is disclosable exactly and in the way the requester may want it. One of the exceptions is for architectural plans. And the individual can review the plans, but in order to make copies of the plans, you actually have to request permission from the person who designed them because of copyright law. And that was, my understanding is that was directed to the requester in this case on several occasions, including their attorney, and that simply hasn't happened. In other words, what they were asked to do was to fill out Simi Valley's own form, which has existed for many years in order to be able to obtain those plans. So once that happens, you're able to get copies of it. And you can view the copies beforehand, you just can't make copies of it.
And just, can you take a photo of it with your phone or something? No.
That would be
That would
considered
be copied.
duplication,
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 7, the consent calendar, and there are 6 resolutions for your consideration this evening. Consent item 7, resolution number 2024-12, a resolution to election and to request the Board of Supervisors of the County of Ventura to consolidate this election of said city to be held on Tuesday, November 5th, 2024, with the statewide general election to be held on said date pursuant to Section 10403 of the Elections Code and Accountability Act, and Resolution Number 2024-13, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Simi Valley requesting the Board of Supervisors of Ventura County to permit the county elections official to render services to the city for the general municipal election to be held on the day of the statewide general election. Consent item 8, resolution number WWD-296, a resolution of the Board of Directors of Ventura County Waterworks District Number 8, establishing a water service standby charge for fiscal year 2024-25. Consent item 9, resolution number 2024-14, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Simi Valley pursuant to the provisions of the Landscaping and Lighting Act of 1972, evidencing the council's intention to levy assessments for the 2024-25 fiscal year on those lots within Simi Valley Landscape District Number 1, describing the proposed improvements and ordering the engineer to prepare and file a report. Resolution number 2024-15, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Simi Valley approving the engineer's report for Simi Valley Landscape District Number 1, and resolution number 2024-16, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Simi Valley declaring its intention pursuant to the Landscaping and Lighting Act of 1972 to levy and collect assessments on those lots of parcels within Simi Valley Landscape District Number 1, describing the improvements and their locations, and fixing a time and place for and giving notice of a public hearing by the City Council on the question of the levy of proposed assessments for fiscal.
Do I have a motion?
I move approval of the consent calendar.
Second. Call for a vote.
The motion passes unanimously. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 9A, adoption of a resolution amending the bylaws governing the Simi Valley Youth Council. The reading of the resolution is as follows. Resolution number 2024-17, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Simi Valley of the City of Simi Valley adopting an amendment to the Simi Valley Youth Council bylaws. And Community Services Coordinator Ryan Fowler and Management Analyst Kristen Miller are here to present this item.
Good evening, Mayor Thomas and members of the City Council. At its November 14th, 2023 Youth Council meeting, the Youth Council established a Youth Council bylaw review ad hoc committee to complete a thorough review of its bylaws. The Youth Council members then discussed the recommendations brought forward by the committee to clarify officer duties, strengthen the meeting attendance policy, provide options for a traditionally vacant Apollo High School designated school representative position, address the Youth Council's online presence, and clarify ad hoc committee response. Unanimously voted to recommend that the City Council amend the Youth Council bylaws. The revised bylaws would allow the Simi Valley Youth Council to clarify member responsibilities, strengthen attendance policy, and allow a means of addressing membership issues. Therefore, the Youth Council recommends that the City Council adopt Resolution number 2024-17 on page 3 of the staff report, amending the bylaws governing the Simi Valley Youth Council. This concludes the report, and staff is available to answer any questions.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to welcome Ryan Fowler officially to Simi Valley, the City of Simi Valley employment, and delighted you are going to be working with our youth. And I don't know if that's officially been announced, but that's now official. So I just announced it. So thank you.
Thank you.
But I do have a series of questions,
Sure.
if that is all right. So I read through the bylaws carefully, and I like the solution to the Apollo solution. I think that makes sense. My first question was, as I read through it, basically it incorporates Bonavista, Vista, maybe homeschool, et cetera. If no one, then it reverts to a community at large position, as opposed to being held open and trying to hold another election, et cetera. And all that sounds great. My first question was, I didn't find anywhere mention of private schools within Simi Valley, and wondered if that is captured within that, or could it be included?
Right now, the community at large positions actually hold those openings. So usually our private schools will be under that category. So we were just looking for alternative education for the harder to fill position.
And that makes sense. I just wanted to be sure that private school is subsumed within the community at large. And as I was reading the community at large, I was kind of curious to see if the definition of that was Simi Valley resident or Simi Valley attendee school. Like, for instance, a student that came from out of the area but goes to school in Simi, at one of the Simi schools. But the definition, as I saw it, was residents within Simi Valley. Is that accurate?
Yes. And then when we do host our big events, we invite students that attend schools in Simi but live outside, so they are still included in their activities.
Okay. Next question. One of the things it says that you're doing is that you are expanding the vice chair role to include fundraising. Is that correct?
Correct.
In my notes, I don't see where that is actually added.
Sorry, no, their
Did I
duties,
misread
they're
that?
just, we added a second line that basically says they're in charge of all the roles that the youth council chair would do, which would be making sure that each committee is doing what they're supposed to be doing. So if they're leading that meeting, then they'll be verifying.
Okay, then I misread the summary of what was, okay, so that's why it doesn't say anything about fundraising for the vice chair. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. I wanted to understand a little bit better the alternates. As I understand right now, there are 3 alternates that are selected, and that you've hardened the attendance policy. So if there are basically 6 absences by members of the body, for whatever reason, kind of, unless they're in the hospital, but for even for good, but you want people that are participant, that they would be gently invited, excused, and the alternates are listed, and the first alternate would then assume that position. Is that, is my understanding correct? So do the alternates, do they normally attend the regular meetings, or are they just called, is attendance applied to them as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, so alternates have all the same duties. They have to serve on committees. They could actually, in the bylaws, they can actually be elected as chair, as long as they have the majority vote, which is,
Actually, the bylaws I read said that they couldn't be. You're saying that they could hold office? The bylaws that I just read said they could not.
okay. I thought there was in there that they could.
It definitely says they can't vote. That's correct, right?
Okay, so on section 5, under Article 4, terms of office, so if you look at under B for alternates, it says they shall not be allowed to hold the following offices, but at the end it says, unless so appointed by the majority of the council.
Oh, the qualifier. You can't be in office unless we all really like you. Okay, okay. No, that's fine. Okay.
That was in the original bylaws.
You didn't change, okay.
We didn't clarify that, but.
But it is correct that an alternate cannot vote, correct? That's what it says.
They can
in here.
vote.
It's,
They're
swear I
to fill
read-
the quorum. So basically, when you look at the minutes, there will only ever be up to 21 votes. They all raise their
Really?
hands.
That's
when you
why I'm
vote.
asking, because I've never
But-
seen anyone
But then
not
we
vote.
only can count the quorum. I mean, not the quorum. We can only count those that are appointed to fill the regular positions.
Interesting.
21.
So they all raise a hand, that's nice. They all raise a hand and vote, but you're really secretly only counting.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
We keep track. We keep track.
Having attended a handful of youth council meetings, and I love attending the youth council meetings. They're wonderful. I just am trying to understand better. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that understanding. The one thing too I noticed, okay, I'm just sharing this with the city council because you can appreciate it, and I don't know if this is new, but any action the city council has taken recently cannot be discussed for a year in the bylaws, which means they can't talk about drones because we just passed that drones. Isn't that what it means? And anything that we talk about it. I thought that was very interesting that it precluded from discussion. So anyway, it was. And the other thing I noticed too is that the city manager gets to approve the funds if they're allocated for a special project. I don't know if you knew that, Brian. Keep for the money. So, and I thought about that as Abhishek, as he was talking about the money to be used for that. And I didn't at the time ask him, so have you run that by the city manager yet? I want you to know I didn't do that to him, but thought about it. Anyway, thank you for the care and detail you take and for building great leaders. So that's it for my questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt Resolution 2024-17, amending the bylaws governing the Simi Valley Youth Council.
Thank you. Second. Call for a vote.
The motion passes unanimously. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 10A, City Council member reports.
Councilmember Litzter.
I thought you'd be tired of hearing me speak. No. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. It's been actually a relatively full 2 weeks. On Tuesday, May the 7th, attended and chaired the Simi Valley Arts Commission, where we continue the discussion of basically where, with our new bylaws, what that's why bylaws are so important, by the way. I just think that's why I was so interested in what the Youth Council, because it really does give you, it does govern what we can do and not do and say and all that good stuff. But anyway, so for the Simi Valley Arts Commission, one of the major discussions was the pursuing one of the goals, which is a potential of having a arts plan that governs the city. And so, but we created a adjunct committee to basically come up with recommendations for an RFP, and then they'll be bringing that forward ultimately once they're decided to the council to decide if it's something we want to go forward with. But that was in our Simi Valley Arts Commission meeting. That evening, I attended the 2024 State of Our Schools, where Hani Yosef spoke about what's happening in Simi Valley Unified School District. He certainly talked about their being ahead of the curve with TK programming and how successful that is. They also next year are going to be starting a dual immersion program, where at one of the schools they will actually have 2 TK classes, or maybe 3, and it ended up being, it was so popular, it ended up being 5 classes in TK and kindergarten, which will be taught in both Spanish and English. And so they're excited about that. The other thing that I found interesting is they spoke about the inevitable falling enrollment as birth rates are falling. And the statistic he gave is that that Simi Valley Unified School District has about a 3% falling enrollment. However, compared to the county, compared to LA city, et cetera, it's actually less than theirs, and actually sign to be of encouragement that enrollment is not falling as precipitously. Thursday, May the 9th, I attended Ventura County Association of Governments regular council meeting. We talked about the Naval Air Force Base and health, what's happening with our health services with the county, what's been changed with Proposition 1, what that means. And basically, my takeaway was that our county is going to be forced to go from proactive health issues to more immediate, well, the positives are that they'll be dealing more with addictive and some of those health issues, but 30% is for brick and mortar, for housing, for homeless needs in the health issues. That was kind of my brief summary from what was presented. Also on that day, May 9th, I attended a Zoom meeting that Councilmember Kevin McNamee of Thousand Oaks put together, and he invited me to attend. One of his ideas is that as new development comes into their city, that they be encouraged to have rooms for tutoring for students, that particularly in their apartments, et cetera. And not that they require developers to do that, but they strongly encourage, and he said they found that to be receptive. And so the Zoom meeting was actually with USC, and CLU was on, and basically education programs that specialize in providing tutoring for students. And so he saw that as a way, particularly in maybe some of the subsidized housing areas and apartments, et cetera, that to basically find places and spaces where youth can receive tutoring and achieve academically. So I share that thought. On Friday, May 10th, I attended the grand reopening of Sub-Zero Ice Cream, and I'd like to commend Rob West for sticking with it, and he has purchased one of the industrial condos there on Cochrane, and so he's moved from Madera Street there, and it was actually a lovely gathering. Of course, he does a lot of education about nitrous gas. Do I have the right gas? Anyway, besides tasting great, it's glad that he's there, and they are now open for business. And so it's not your normal commercial area where you expect to buy ice cream. So I share, you might go check it out, just to know he's there and making it happen. On Saturday, May 11th, I attended the Simi Valley Cultural Arts Center Foundation Spotlight Awards, and specifically there was a tribute to Greg Stratton and Gary Thomas, who Fred knows very well, and I hope he speaks to, but they have named the lobby and balcony, I believe, after those two pillars in the arts in our community. And so it was a lovely event, and appreciate the foundation. Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes, your people appreciated he donated the auction, and so there were people who actually purchased your coffee tasting. Yeah. So just want people to know that thank you you weren't there physically, but you were there in spirit, so I appreciate it. May 12th was Mother's Day, and I want to say thank you to my children who gave me the best present. They allowed me to take a long nap, and it was really, really lovely. So on Monday, May the 13th, I attended the Council on Aging, and they elected a new person. Well, actually, no. They did elect a new person to attend the AAA, which was a good thing. And anyway, always great to see what they're doing there. On Monday the 13th, I also attended Moore Park's State of the City address, which was held at the High Street Arts Center. What was interesting, it was beautifully done. I want to commend our neighbors, Moore Park, for doing just a very lovely job. They had a handful of speakers with slides behind them and a little reception afterwards. But what I found particularly interesting is that it was a special council meeting. And so I share that with you now, that as we go forward with our State of the City, I understand it has been legally considered a council meeting, and so it has to be noticed as such, and it has to be, and all of their slides did say special council meeting, and they definitely recognized that was what this was. But it was, anyway, very nicely done, so I commend Moore Park. Tuesday, May 14th, briefly attended the Slice House grand opening. So glad that they're here in our community. Also attended the Simi Valley Ed Foundation Teacher of the Month for May that was held at Atherwood, and congratulations to the recipient. And then came to City Hall to hold the Arts Commission interviews, and I will say all were great, outstanding candidates, and it was difficult because they all offered something different. So I just will say that we're in good hands, and I'm hoping those that aren't selected will still be involved, because really they were all outstanding. On Wednesday, May the 15th, was the Council on Aging had their Wellness Expo, and I just have to commend Pete Strong and what he did to make that happen. Just outstanding. They had 60 vendors. In fact, people higher, was it more than that? He's raising his thumb. 84 vendors. I'm sorry. I need to get this straight. 84 vendors. In fact, if you worked here at City Hall, you found that you had no place to park if you came to work late that day. In fact, I have to confess, you know how we are fortunate to have our reserved parking. I came in the morning about 8 just to check it out briefly before I went to work. There was only one reserved spot left. It was Mayor's, Fred Thompson. So I took your spot, Fred. I just want. So but I figured it was for 15 minutes, or it was going to be very short. That I'd be. I was going to attend that. I just want to commend our Council on Aging and the Senior Center and all that they did. It was an amazing event. Actually, I went to my office, and I will say that many of my employees are in that age bracket. Let me just say that. And I invited them all to come over and attend on the clock. I want to be very clear. And several of them took advantage of that. And one in particular, she said it was just outstanding. Loved the drumming that was going on with the body brain train, et cetera. But she said she had to park in the parking lot over at Vaughn's to walk over to get here. So it really was a lovely, lovely event. So thank you. Also on that day, via Zoom, attended the Chamber Economics Development Committee. They recapped their little house on the prairie, and I think they put their attendance at about 18,000 that came to that weekend. And they talked too about how they were offered to sell the sets, the interior sets that were put together, felt it was not, the offer was not nearly what it should have been, and that they've retained them for this year and are looking for a place where they can temporarily stage them so they can still bring visitors here. And there was a couple places we talked about where they're hoping to make that happen. So Little House on the Prairie, 50th anniversary is all year and it's not dead in Simi Valley. Just wanted to share that. Thursday, May 16th, attended the VCOG's Administrative Committee meeting. Also had a biweekly meeting with our city manager, Brian Gabler, and I just felt I needed to keep picking his brain because it may not be around to pick for much longer. So thank you, Brian. Always appreciate your information. Friday, May 17th, attended the Simi Valley Ed Foundation Teacher of the Month for the month of June, which they hold in May because school ends June 7th. And the recipient there was Isaac Arias, who is the music teacher at Sinaloa Middle School. Very deserving, and what he's done. Interestingly enough, I know the awards are selected the first of the year, but since that award was selected, he has done so much for the community orchestra and just so many things. It's just very deserving. Saturday, May 18th, I did meet with a constituent who's concerned about some activities in his neighborhood. I didn't get here, but I want to say thank you for approving the beautiful sidewalk chalk that is out here outside City Hall. For those who might be viewing it via television, you have got to come down to City Hall and check out the sidewalk chalk before it disappears in a few days. Truly some gorgeous works of art. And so it's just beautiful out there. So thank you for approving that and making it happen here at City Hall. Sunday, May 19th, actually, Mayor, I'll let you talk about the Eagle Court of Honor, where you were sitting in the Eagle's Nest. That was lovely for several of our outstanding Eagles in our community. I did attend a foundation, well, I just want to share that the Simi Valley Arts Alliance has kind of coalesced and joined with the Simi Valley Music Foundation. I was there for that meeting. It's exciting that they're re-energizing that group. And so it's basically a foundation that is now poised to support all of the youth orchestra and the community orchestra that's happening in our community. And so that is going forward. And then today, had the fun of attending Simi Valley Fiber City's grand opening, ribbon cutting of the literacy lab that's in our library, where great work is being done to help with adult literacy and all the efforts there. So really great, exciting things happening in our city, and it's good to be part of it. So that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On Thursday, May 9th, the mayor and I conducted Neighborhood Council 1 and 2 interviews. I want to apologize for people having to wait for us. We enjoyed talking with each of the applicants so much, we got a little bit behind on our schedule. But I think we did a great job, and it was really nice talking to all the different people that came in. On Saturday, May 11th, the Rotary Club had a charity softball tournament at Rancho Santa Susana. It's always a good time to have a good softball tournament there. Anytime you're out and about, and pull in there and see what's going on. On Thursday, May 16th, I was very busy. So I started out the morning at 9 o'clock in Camarillo for the Ventura County Animal Services Commission. Our new chair is Liz Campos from the city of Ventura, and I am still the vice chair. I think we're doing a great job with our commission. Right now, we're in the process of looking to hire a new director. So there will be some interviews from that. We're doing 2 different panels, allowing people from the rescue side of the animal services and within the county to do those interviews. So I'm looking forward to that. But I did want to kind of highlight a few things. The annual report is out. Mara didn't get a copy of it, so I can share mine with her when she gets it. We had 7,136 animals taken in 2023, and 1,250 were reunited with their families, which is really good. And one of the things they pointed out was that a lot of those were cats, which is very unusual. Cats are usually not the ones that are reunited. For whatever reason, they stray farther and they disappear, and people don't necessarily go looking for them as much as a dog, but they were very excited about that. We had a little over 4,500 adoptions out of just our services here, and volunteer hours donated 33,000. You know how much money that saves us in the community and the county? And what really topped me the most was foster care hours, 101,000 hours in foster care. And I know a lot of that is the kittens. You know, when the bottle, what do they call them? Bottle babies. The bottle baby kittens every spring come in, and so people will take those, and they're every 2 hours you have to feed them. So am happy for all of those people that volunteered to do that. I respect them. Out of the adoptions, the 4,500, 2168 were cats and 2,077 were dogs. I still remind everybody, watch the website, vcas.us. We have free adoption days. We have clear the shelter days, different things going on. All the animals that come out of the shelter are spayed and neutered, so it's a good thing. And save an animal. I have a 2-year-old cat that drives me nuts, but they won't take him back. So I'm just kidding. But he does drive me nuts. But save an animal, adopt from the shelter. That same day, I had our EDC, Economic Development Collaborative meeting in Camarillo at 3:30. We had a full quorum, got a lot of things accomplished there, and we're still moving forward on that. A lot of things going on in the future. I'll have something more to share with some of the ideas that are being passed around. And then that same evening, I attended the Citizens Academy, where the mayor presented certificates and such, and he'll have it on his agenda also. Watch the canines do their presentation, the canine officers do their presentations, and talked a little bit about the Police Foundation. So that's it for my report, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On May 10th, I attended the VCTC meeting in Camarillo, Ventura County Transportation Committee. Not too much really singling out Simi Valley in the meeting that day. Mostly was discussion about our budget and the projects around the county that we're working on diligently to get open and get fixed, like the Sespe Creek Bridge and the new road slide that happened out there near Santa Paula Fillmore. We're trying to get those fixed. Right now there is a bypass set up, which is causing a lot of problems for commuters out there. So that's 2 big problems going on in Ventura County. On Sunday, May 12th, I want to say to all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. I hope you had a great Mother's Day and enjoyed it. On Monday, May 13th, I attended the Council on Aging meeting along with Councilmember Lister. They were mostly excited about having their wellness expo, which was the day after or 2 days after. Unfortunately, I couldn't be here for that, but I know it went over well. I just heard it was great, so that's awesome. Tuesday, May 14th, I attended the grand opening of Slice House here in Simi Valley. So now we have a new pizza restaurant here. The pizza's very good. I suggest y'all get out and try it. While I was gone on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I was at a convention in Fresno. I'm happy to report that our Elks Lodge here in Simi Valley was able to donate $20,000 to the Elks Major Charity Fund. That's just our lodge. The state of California in total donated over $4 million to that charity fund, so that's a great job. And on Saturday, May 18th in the evening, I was able to attend the Soaring Spirits Gala at the Ronald Reagan Library. Soaring Spirits is a great organization dedicated to widows and widowers to help them get through their grief, and it is an awesome organization, and they raised a lot of money too, and that was great to see. And that's the end of my report.
Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A little bit shorter report. On Tuesday the 7th, I attended the Simi Valley Arts Commission with Councilwoman Litster. She gave a report on that. And then let me see, vacation. I will tell you, I had a vacation in Mexico. I left all the fish for everybody else. We were skunked. But coming back, we had today I did the ribbon cutting of the Literacy Lab, but I want to back up to Saturday the 18th. I also attended the Soaring Spirits Gala. I was pointed out by my wife that maybe going to a gala that supported those who are widowed was not the best way to spend our 28th wedding anniversary. But that is where we spent the night doing that. So that's the end of my report.
All right, let's see here. So May 9th, we did the interviews for Neighborhood Council 1 and 2, Dee Dee and I. And yeah, it was a long evening, thanks to our talkative nature, but I think we got some really great candidates. Saturday, May 11th, attended the Spotlight Awards. It was special for me because 2 people that mean a lot to me, one, Greg Stanton, our past mayor, and someone that I respect quite a bit, and my brother Gary, were both honored by Arts Plaza with naming Greg's family said that he always had a big deal about sitting in the balcony. That meant him, so they named the balcony after him. And the lounge, I don't know what you would call it, or, yeah, after my brother, because he lived and breathed that organization as long as he was on it. Let's see, Tuesday, May 14th, I attended the Slice House grand opening, which made my 8th visit to Slice House here in Simi, in addition to the 3 in Thousand Oaks before they opened here. And yes, I do like their pizza. And then in the afternoon, we had a Chamber C-level visit with Liberty Pharmacy, and met the owner and talked to him about success he's having and the challenges he's facing, and it was interesting, but he really, really appreciated the visit. Thursday, May 16th, attended the Simi Valley Police Department Citizens Academy graduation night. Got a chance to welcome them and talk to them about the experience they had, and just like every other one that I've been to, they found it informative, interesting. They wished it wasn't over. They wanted more. So it's a great thing, and I recommend anyone that hasn't done it to do it. Then Saturday, May 18th, of course, Soaring Spirits Gala. It was a really nice event for a very good cause. I mean, they had probably the most successful live auction that I've seen in the city. And then Sunday, May 19th, I attended a Eagle Court of Honor for 3 new Eagle Scouts, 4 new Eagle Scouts. No, it was 3. I was right. Up at a beautiful home in the Presidential Estates. And it's something I love doing because I am an Eagle Scout, so I got to sit in the Eagle's nest. And I got to present certificates from the council on behalf of all of us. So that was really nice, and that ends my report. So I want to call for any future agenda items. And seeing none, I am going to adjourn this meeting with no memory tonight. I guess that's a good thing. We haven't lost anyone this week that I know of. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Have a good evening, and we'll see you next time.
And we will